Hello, friends. Welcome to the Spoken Word. We did this once before, a month or two ago, where we had some old archived poem, and this is some of the longer things I've written in the past, and I wrote this. I wrote this one probably 5 to 10 years ago, before the LGBTQ thing. Well, it was just getting started, and it was around the controversy. There was a Chick-fil-A controversy, where the original founder said he took a Christian stand, and everybody freaked out on all this stuff, and then the LGBTQ thing started to roll, and so I did this. I did this poem. It's called Satan's Gender Neutralization Plan. And I did this before and I'm not saying I was prophetic or anything like that. I don't mean anything like that. But it was like, and when you hear it, you go, wow, because it's interesting because gender is so immutable. You're born male or female. I mean, it's just immutability. The only, the only, the only, the only, not difference in that there are people who are hermaphrodites who are born with both sex organs, but again, even with that, there's generally they are, one is more active than the other. There's all kinds of stuff here, and they can help. Those people can be helped, and that's not their fault, and it's not a choice they made, but that's a very rare thing. So 99.999% of the time, people are born male or female. And I wanted to throw that in because those people have a hard time. Imagine, being born, with both sets of sex organs. That's such a rare thing. It's almost not worth mentioning. But I don't want those folks to be condemned. I don't want to condemn people who this is just some biological freak of nature thing, kind of, something that just overtook them in birth, that can be fixed and helped, and you can overcome that. And again, like I said, it's so rare, but the LGBTQ thing and the denial of gender, and this whole poem is about Satan's presentation of his plan to neutralize gender. And so I hope you appreciate this because we're now living in a time now where we have a president who's saying there's two genders, and the Olympics are going to be men against men, biological men competing against biological men, biological females. This was going to be the destruction of women's sports, and I'm glad. And after the hard fought decades this is where Satan took this too far, and the whole movement took this way too far, because everybody with half an ounce of sense in their brain knows that a biological male, whether he calls himself male or female, is much more powerful and strong than a biological female. God made us this way. God made men stronger and bigger, mostly, as a general rule, and women smaller and more delicate or less strong with their muscle structure. Everything is different. And so to put biological males in competition with biological females because the male says he's female, when it violates all biology, is insane. And it always has been insane and always will be insane. And it doesn't matter what you call yourself. It's what your body is, and it's what your biology is that should matter in things like sports. And so thank God we have a president who's putting a stop to this insanity. And again, I don't condemn the LGBTQ. I've preached on this out of Romans. We love to beat those people up. And again, but again, sexual immorality. If you're heterosexual and you're sleeping with your girlfriend outside of marriage, you're sinning. And we can point a finger at the LGBTQ community all we want, but heterosexual sexual sin is as bad as all of that. And so we need to be careful with all of this, that we don't just beat the crap out of people. I mean, again, we have to take a moral, godly stand, a biblical stand on these things. And again, people like to categorize. And so I'm careful with that, and again, we just find out what the Bible says and we stick with that. So let's get into this poem. Sorry about the long introduction there. This is one of the longer ones. I'm not going to comment on after it, but I want you to hear what the Lord had me write years and years ago. And I'll try and just be as pronounced as possible. This is Satan's gender neutralization program. Hell was called to order. The boss had much to say on that dark and dreary and truly dreadful day. I've come up with another plan to destroy now every nation, and what I've decided to call it is gender neutralization. I'll tell the boys they're girls, and the girls now all that they're boys, and encourage every one of them to play with each other's toys. I'll whisper in their ears at a young and early age, and set up their destruction at this lovely, tender stage. And since their parents no longer parent, it'll be such an easy ploy, for I'm the God who's come to steal, kill, and destroy. At all of this, hell was silent. Not a whisper could be heard, but all of them were thinking it, that this plan was most absurd. At this the devil grew angry, for no dissent would be allowed from all his imps and demons in this truly hellish crowd. Finally his number two spoke with the greatest fear, and like the rest of hell now, not understanding what he'd hear. How is this now possible, boss, to confuse them in this way? For their gender is now physical from their very first day. Satan smiled and laughed, enjoying their confusion, and he decided to explain his plan instead of giving them all contusions. You know it's rather simple, with the elimination of truth, with them rejecting Jehovah and no longer believing biblical proof. For in being the father of lies, I'm now setting up the stage for my son, the Antichrist, and my final age. By the end, there'll be no truth, each man going his own way, until I finally have their souls and destroy them on that day. And I'll finally rule and reign, for that's what I'm destined for. And so now you will witness me opening all hell's door. And as he spoke, the crowd began to go wild with demonic anticipation of him birthing his own child. And now finally at the end, he calmed them all down and just smiled with anticipation at the wearing of God's crown. Men, he said, are so easy. From the first with Adam and Eve, a simple little lie now, yes, so easy to deceive. And so demons now and devils, prepare yourself to invade as I abase the earth in this final charade. For if I can now convince them that their gender isn't right, then you know it will be so easy to bring on my final night. Now, again, if you want to hear that again, just rewind it and hear it again. I got about 90%, I chopped a little bit. But again, that's what all of this is about. It's all about deception. It's all about Satan deceiving. And truth is truth. Well, truth is Christ, of course. But truth is truth. And we've been living in these days of delusion for years now, and we're again Isaiah 5. Let me go to Isaiah 5 here, since I've only 8 minutes in. Let me read Isaiah 5. Isaiah, Jeremiah. I believe it's Isaiah 5. Almost positive. Isaiah 5, and listen to this. It's Isaiah 4 or 5. Let's see here. So I think it's Isaiah 5. There we go. Isaiah 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight. For years and years and decades, there's been an exchange between good and evil, between darkness and light, and between bitter and sweet. It's just everything has turned on its head. And now if you speak the truth, even in love, you're reviled. If you say abortion is murder, you're just narrow-minded. You don't want a woman to have a choice. Yeah, I don't want a woman to have a choice to murder her own child. Of course I don't. You know, 1.7 billion have been murdered since 1980. They've been keeping abortion stats, a minimum of that. And the abortion clock on the internet tells us that 200,000 children a day are murdered by their own mothers and fathers. That's 50,000 more than people die of all other natural causes. 150,000 people die a day of natural causes, and 200,000, in addition to the 150, 200,000 die of abortion, more than people dying natural deaths, all natural deaths combined. So the genocide happening now is incredible. And so, but again, the lie, and that's what we're seeing. And with all of this stuff, with this gender stuff and this nonsense that gender is malleable, it is not malleable. God made male and he made female. And so that's what it is. And I always go back to the rib. When I defend this, God took the rib out of man and he created the woman out of the man. He took the rib and built a woman out of it. She is the unique creature in all the universe. Why? Because all of the animals and men and man, Adam, were taken out of the dust of the earth. The woman is the only thing, as far as the animals, people, all of that kingdom there, not the animal kingdom, but people. But as far as living beings that are alive like that, woman is completely unique. And women, you should rejoice in this. You're unique. You are made from the dust of the earth. You are made from something that was alive already, man. And that's why I love what God did there. It's incredible. And so to just spit on that, to spit on gender, and to say we're all the same, it's nonsense. Even our brains are different. Did you know, again, I'm preaching here. If you don't want, you can just shut me off. Did you know that when a woman has a male child, she's gestating a male child, that at sometime during the gestation, I don't remember when it is, a surge of testosterone goes up into the brain, and there is a bridge between the two hemispheres, the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. You know, your brain's divided the left and right hemisphere, and one's for logic and one's for creativity, something like that. And so that surge of testosterone in the male babies only breaks that bridge between the two hemispheres. And so the two hemispheres are separated. With females, the two hemispheres, that bridge remains. So male and female think differently by the design of God. And so I don't care if you're a male calling yourself a female, you're never going to think like a female. If you're a female calling yourself a male, you're never going to think. Your brain is different, and you can't change your brain. And so again, I'm not beating up on anybody. All of this is in love. And so, but truth is truth, and gender is gender. And we can play whatever games we want with this, but it is a fact. Your physical gender is your physical gender. And so there it is, Satan's gender neutralization program. Hope you enjoyed the poem. Sorry about the diatribing and preaching a little bit, but this is one of my pet peeves. I get into all of this stuff, and it's just sorrowful. You know, how much darkness, how people are willing to believe a lie, and it's obviously, clearly, provably a biological lie. It is a biological lie that we can change species or gender. We got people, we have cat litter things in schools in Chicago, I believe. So people who think they're cats can go use cat litter. We have puppy play and pony play, people who dress up and they live out their lives as puppies or ponies. Now we're changing species. It's, again, I'm not beating anybody up here, because there's a lot of this, people demonically deceived, and all of this is a demonic deception. And so, anyway, love you. Can't get enough of you, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed night. Love you.